Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano. Now for today's U.S. news. A new miniseries about John F. Kennedy's presidency that is being prepared by the History Channel does not yet have a cast or a premiere date. Not a frame of footage has been shot. It does, however, have prominent critics who want it brought to a halt. The critics, including Theodore C. Sorensen, a former Kennedy advisor, say they have read the scripts for the project and that those contain errors of facts and emphasis. But like a similar controversy over a 2003 television film about Ronald Reagan, the dispute over the Kennedy series seems to say as much about the enduring place of the Kennedys as a battleground in the culture wars as it does about history itself. The miniseries called The Kennedys is the brainchild of Joel Surnow, a creator of the Fox action show 24 and an outspoken political conservative. That raised alarms among Kennedy partisans when the History Channel said in December that it would pick up the project. It was political character assassination, the filmmaker Robert Greenwald said of the screenplays in a telephone interview. It was sexist and pandering, and it was turning everything into a cheap soap opera of the worst kind. Mr. Greenwald said he is hoping that his 13-minute video and an accompanying petition at StopKennedySmears.com will take on lives of their own on the web. A title card at the film's conclusion reads, "Tell the History Channel I refuse to watch right-wing character assassination masquerading as history." The charges come as a surprise to the members of the production team behind the Kennedys, who say that the scripts for the 8-part series are still being rewritten and that criticism of the project is premature. Before turning to nonfiction films, Mr. Greenwald was a director and producer of made-for-television movies. From his contacts in that industry like agents, managers, and casting directors, he said he began receiving copies of the Kennedy scripts this year. He then recruited a group of historians to appear in his video, including Mr. Sorensen and Nigel Hamilton, whose 1992 bestseller, JFK Reckless Youth, was criticized by the Kennedy family. Mr. Greenwald said that he was not seeking to censor the History Channel. Anyone has a right to do whatever they want. I would never suggest that History Channel doesn't have a right. What I'd suggest is something called the History Channel should not be doing political propaganda. And now to Brandon with international news.
Thanks again, Angie. In today's international news, J.K. Rowling is facing a multi-million-pound lawsuit after being accused of stealing ideas for her Harry Potter series from the British author of another children's book. The estate of the late Adrian Jacobs added the world's richest author as a defendant to a lawsuit that alleges that a substantial part of Mr. Jacobs' 1987 book, The Adventures of Willie the Wizard, #1, Livid Land, was replicated in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, published 13 years later in July of 2000. Mr. Jacobs' estate entered a lawsuit against Bloomsbury Publishing, publishers for the Harry Potter series, in a London court last June. The suit claims that Mr. Jacobs used concepts and themes such as wizard prisons, wizard hospitals, and wizard colleges years before Miss Rowling did. The two authors also shared an agent, Christopher Little, who manages the Harry Potter brand worldwide. Miss Rowling strongly disputes the claims. The Sydney agent, Max Markson, who is representing Paul Allen, the Australian-based trustee of Mr. Jacobs' estate, said that Miss Rowling was added to the lawsuit after Mr. Allen learned that the statute of limitations to sue her had not run out, as previously thought. "I estimate it's a multi-million-dollar law case," Mr. Markson told The Times. "When you think of all the money that's involved, I would say that $1 billion is a very conservative estimate." The theme of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was identical to the theme of Willie the Wizard. The last 4 Harry Potter books have consecutively set records as the fastest-selling books in history. While the series has generated billions of dollars in film sales, the Mr. Jacobs, on the other hand, sold only 5,000 copies of his Willie the Wizard book. A millionaire businessman and lawyer, he died penniless in 1997, 10 years after losing everything in the 1987 stock market crash. Mr. Jacobs used to tell friends children's stories about a boy wizard until he was persuaded to turn the tales into a book, which he self-published. A friend of his first noticed the similarities to Goblet of Fire in 2003, and Mr. Jacobs' estate approached Bloomsbury with the plagiarism claims that following year. But it took another 5 years before a lawsuit was brought against the publishing company. In June, Bloomsbury said that the allegation that Miss Rowling had plagiarized themes from Mr. Jacobs' books was unfounded, unsubstantiated, and untrue. The publishing company said that at the time that Mr. Jacobs' estate was unable to identify any text in the Harry Potter books that was copied from Willie the Wizard. In a statement, Mr. Allen said that the estate was also seeking legal advice on whether the Harry Potter films and soon-to-be-open Harry Potter theme park breached any copyright laws. Ms. Rawlings said in a statement, "I am saddened that yet another claim has been made that I have taken material from another source to write Harry. The fact is that I had never heard of the author or the book before the first accusation by those connected to the author's estate in 2004. The claims that are made are not only unfounded, but absurd, and I am disappointed that I and my UK publisher, Bloomsbury, are put in a position to have to defend ourselves. We will be applying to the court immediately for a ruling that claims that it is without merit and should therefore be dismissed without delay."
Think you're too busy to work out? Think again. Now there's the Ab Circle Pro, the fastest, easiest way to lose those love handles and get the sexy sculpted body you've always wanted.
The secret is the Ab Circle Pro combines cardio and abs to burn fat, while its unique friction-free track uses the momentum of gravity to target your entire midsection in a full circular motion, firing your core like no other machine has ever done. Best of all, it's fun and easy and takes just 3 minutes a day. And now, through this exclusive TV offer, the Ab Circle Pro can be yours to try in your home for 30 days for just $14.95. And if you call within the next 10 minutes, we'll send you Jennifer Nicole Lee's complete Lose Your Love Handle system, which includes our 3-minute express workout and nutritional guide, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-310-1646 to try Ab Circle Pro for $14.95 plus shipping with credit card order. Call now for a free upgrade to priority processing. That's 1-800-310-1646.
Now back to Brandon with Green News.
Thanks again, Angie. And now for today's Green News. Companies have looked forward to paperless offices for years, if not decades, but despite the ever-widening use of computers and electronic documents for daily operations, corporate treasury departments are still by and large paper-based and wasting significant money and resources as a result. But a new report released by J.P. Morgan outlines how companies can cut the paper from their treasury departments, saving millions of dollars and reducing tons of waste in the process. The report states that large treasury departments can generate over 5 tons of paper per year, equivalent to 143 trees, and responsible for the creation of 106 tons of greenhouse gases. The report highlights a number of best practices to help treasury departments move towards a zero-return environment. Many treasury departments still spend time and money manually entering receivable and invoice information into their accounts receivable system to track payment status. Image capture and data capture in conjunction with web-based data repositories provide faster and easier access to documentation and eliminate the cost of transporting paper from lockbox locations. Treasury staff can then use their bank's online channel to improve internal workflow, receive automated exception notices, and make same-day exception decisions. An online disbursement platform can significantly reduce the resources and hours required to initiate payments, research payment status, and reconcile accounts. These platforms also reduce risk by providing safeguards against check fraud. Treasury departments are deluged with reports of all kinds. Bringing these reports online eliminates boxes of paper statements and the storage fees associated with them. With an electronic archive, Treasury staff can use the search feature to locate specific transactions and other data. Paper documents pose significant security and business risks. A paperless environment turns them into electronic images that are stored in a central online repository that can restrict access to sensitive information. New workflow processes can be developed for creating, saving, and filing and accessing documents that factor in security and disaster recovery requirements, as well as regulatory considerations. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.